Good evening everyone, it's Raylene Bartlett from RTO Doctor, and tonight I'd just like to bring you a very brief quick tip for the 30 days 30 tips. In particular tonight what I'd like to talk to you about very briefly is making sure that your CRICOS registered courses are being appropriately managed. Now for many of you, what you may or may not know is that the national regulator ASQA is responsible for updating any course registrations on the CRICOS register. For those who are uncertain what CRICOS means, it's the Commonwealth Register for Institutes and Courses for Overseas Students. It's where all courses where students on an international student visa under the ESOS framework are managed. Now, for many people at the moment, particularly with the volume of learning being revised by many providers, what you may or may not know is that you will need to update your course registration details to ensure that they reflect the volume of learning requirements. Now, it is incumbent upon you as a CRICOS registered provider to make sure that any course registration that you update is not only compliant in relation to the application that you submit, but also ensuring that the information that the ASQA administrator has entered and put on the CRICOS register on your behalf is accurate and correct. I'm not sure if many of you realise, but sometimes the person entering the data may not necessarily understand the full implications of what exactly is going on behind the scenes on the PRISMS register. So it's really important that when you know that your course is not equivalent and you need to update that CRICOS course registration, that the CRICOS administrator is not just merely updating an old CRICOS code, but actually providing you with a brand new CRICOS course code where the course requires it. So an example in point is, for example, if you've got a Diploma of Leadership and Management that was once upon a time registered for a 26-week duration, and all of a sudden you need to change the course duration on CRICOS to be 52 weeks, then clearly that course is not equivalent in course duration and you've got at least a 6-month discrepancy. So what you actually need in that case is a brand new CRICOS course code, not for the old one to be updated. Now the reason for this is that any student who is enrolled in a CRICOS registered course has their ECOE, their student visa, any pathway programs, any overseas student health cover, all of those things are issued based on the duration that a course is registered for on CRICOS. So if an international student is in Australia, for example, for a Certificate 4 and a diploma, and that entire course duration for that pathway is 2 years, and the student's been enrolled in two programs, for example, of 12 months duration each, and all of a sudden those course durations are independently changed to become, for argument's sake, 104 weeks each or 2 years each, then all of a sudden the student's visa is not going to be long enough. The student's overseas student health cover won't be sufficient, and any pathway programs that the student may or may not be enrolled in will also be impacted. So it's really important to make sure that when the CRICOS administrator is updating your course registration, that they update it appropriately so that students aren't impacted. One of the other reasons why this is really important is because when the CRICOS administrator updates that course registration duration only, they don't actually update the course start and end dates. It's just anybody who is enrolled in that CRICOS registered course code is impacted, whether they're studying, finished, pending, approved, no matter what the status of the COE. That COE is affected if it is enrolled in that, if a student is enrolled in that CRICOS registered course. So it's really important to make sure that all students are appropriately enrolled in the CRICOS registered course that applies to their real and actual enrolment. So for example, if you've got a student who is also finished. For example, they've graduated from that same Diploma of Leadership and Management that was once upon a time 26 weeks, and suddenly they've graduated, and that CRICOS course code has, since they've been graduated, been upgraded to a 52-week duration. Then when you come to audit, the auditors are going to pull a report from behind in Prisms that's going to say that the student's course duration is out of whack in conjunction with the offer letter and the course dates and course agreement and so forth. So you need to make sure that everything is aligned properly, and that when you request that your course registration details are updated by the CRICOS administrator, that they are done so properly and as you would expect. If a course is not equivalent, it doesn't get the same CRICOS course code, it gets a brand new course code, just like you would get a new qualification code on training.gov. Make sure that you hold your CRICOS administrator accountable for all of your course registrations. And that's about it for this evening. Thanks very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you for another 30 days, 30 tips tomorrow. Bye for now.